How long of an off season was this for you personally? No bowl game. I'm sure you're looking at a lot of empty trophy cases every day. What was that like, just to kind of sit there for an extended period of time and just kind of dwell on how last season ended?
You know, it hurts, it sucks, it stinks. I mean, all we can do is, you know, you're in there it's a long December, long January, you know, just waiting to get back. I think I came back a couple weeks early, you know, just really with the sour taste in your mouth, and you want to get things started again. You know, you can only dwell so much and feel bad. You just got to get back in the weight room, get back on the field, do what you can. And, you know, I think that's why there's so much anticipation this year. You know, we got a lot to get back. You know, a big season ahead of us.
Along those lines, you look up and you see a schedule that a lot of people would call the toughest in the country. How do you guys just rally around that, knowing the outside isn't expecting that much from you? Maybe not because of what's in the locker room, but because who you're going to face every Saturday.
You know, it's tough, but that's just the Big Ten. You know, it's the best of the best, and that's what you're going to see every day. You know, and you know we have a tough schedule, but that's, you know, not the only team. And you can never feel bad for yourself, because that's when you lose those games and you accept them. That's when you feel bad for yourself, and that just keeps rolling. You know, you got to fight your butt off, and every day, and take every team for what they are, and try to get a win every week.
I just wanted your perspective on Coach Grimes, because now you're playing for an offensive coordinator who's what a lot of people would call offensive line friendly. Going from him, to what you guys were doing the last 2 years, from a guy that maybe wasn't as involved in the everyday stuff of the offensive lineman. How do you felt that maybe affect your game or the offensive line in general?
Yeah, I mean, I do really like his schemes on offense. It's really a run-oriented team, but he has so many ways to play off the run that I think is going to be really exciting, whether it's play action, to screen, to reverse, to sweep. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see that. And yeah, it definitely makes it a little more friendly, because the defense is always struggling with the shifts and motions, knowing where the ball is. So that kind of frees everyone up, especially for the O-line, to get to double teams and stay on double teams a touch longer and get to the second level. So he is offensive line friendly.
Jake was telling us last week about 5 a.m. weight room run-ins with one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time, and Joe Thomas. Have you gotten a chance to be in there and witness his insane workouts? And he really appreciates, by the way, we talked to him last week at the Hall of Fame. He says this is his new way to give back. Mm-hmm. What have you taken from your run into Joe? Yeah,
I mean, seeing Joe is always awesome. It's you know, you always think you're the grinders. You're getting there at 6 a.m. It's like, nope, he's already there. He's almost done working out. So there's always someone working harder, and like Joe's an example of hard work. I mean, the things he did on the field, the things he's doing in the community, to his businesses, to giving back to this team. Like, he's all over the place, and, you know, we're grateful to have him.
Does your group just kind of pick his brain to figure out what makes him tick and what makes an all-time offensive lineman work? Or
Yeah, I mean, I was actually super lucky this offseason. I got to, you know, sit down with him a few times. One was at like Ducks Unlimited, just like kind of a casual event, and the other I actually got to do like a film review with him through the collective or whatever. So I got to do that too, and just really pick his brain for 45 minutes. So it's always awesome hearing what he has to say.
This building is going to be gone a year from now. You're going to miss it?
You know, you miss pieces about it, but, you know, I think I'm excited. You know, you see the early blueprints and the live construction, what they're doing out there. I think it's going to be incredible. You know, it's going to be a big draw. I think this is a little bit overdue. I think there's some very nice parts of the facility, and then there's this. Maybe a little AC in here would increase its stock a little bit, but, you know, it gets hot in the summer. So
also, downstairs will be gone, so you'll have new locker rooms and everything. They're going to redesign all that. If you had a chance to design a locker room for your team, what would it have? What would it not have? What would it look like?
Ooh. I don't know. I mean, you see those beds nowadays. You know, a bed in your locker room during fall camp wouldn't be the worst thing. Something like that. You know, I love a lounge with a pool table, ping pong table, something like that. It really brings the guys together. You know, I'm not too picky. I'm not too luxurious, but, you know, it's the simple things in life for me. A well-stocked fridge, which we already have. You know, you can't complain.
This defense has gone up under a lot of changes as well. How have you seen the heavier, more physical front seven just maybe impact them going against some team?
Yeah, you know, I think defense, first and foremost, you got to stop the run. And I don't think we necessarily did a great job of that last year. So I think that was, you know, that's the biggest focus. You know, if you play in a big physical league like the Big Ten, you got to stop the run. And I think we brought in some guys who are capable of doing that. So it's going to be really good to see how they can work together and keep doing that this year.
Just physically, though, do you feel a difference when that ball snapped and the initial contact is made against some of the guys you're going against this year?
Absolutely. I mean, we even got guys who have been here, like Ben Barton's gained weight. He's stronger than anything. So going up against guys like that, you got Parker, who's, rooted in there, and Perk and those guys, they're all 320 plus and stronger than anything. So, yeah, that's really going to help this year. It's going to be noticeable.
Guy on offense that maybe we don't see this year, but somebody's got you excited for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think Eugene's going to be good. I think you guys might see him this year. So that might have not gone along with your question, but I think he's going to be really good for us this year and in the future. And then you have some young offensive linemen who are really exciting. Whether it's first year or second year guys, like we're trying to see Ryan Corey grow. We had Kevin Haywood, who's going to be good in the future. Went down this year, going to be good. Got guys like Cub. He's considered one of the most improved guys in the offense this spring ball. So some guys like that are exciting.